Hello everybody, criminal defense attorney Joe Pometto of Joe Pometto Law, here to provide you with 3 tips on how to react during a police stop. These tips will help you navigate through a police stop, hopefully create a situation in which nobody will get hurt while also preserving your rights and all of the defenses that you will need if you end up in court. If you enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, and share. So the 3 tips I'm going to go over today are as follows. Number 1, submit now and sue later. Number 1, submit now and sue later. Number 2, do not give consent. Number 2, do not give consent. And number 3, do not voluntarily surrender information. Do not voluntarily surrender information. So let's dig into tip number 1. Submit now and sue later. If you have a police encounter and they are giving you orders, it is my advice to follow those orders, okay? Submit now. You can always sue the police later, but if you follow the orders, you have a better chance of not creating a heightened, more aggressive situation. For example, during a police stop, if the police stop your car, they walk up, they knock on the window, you roll the window down. The officer will ask you to give license and registration. Okay, give him the license and the registration. If they tell you to put your hands on the steering wheel, put your hands on the steering wheel. If they ask you to get out of the car, get out of the car. Refusing the officer's commands heightens the tension of the situation. It also makes the officer believe that you may have something to hide or that you may be gearing up for a physical or aggressive confrontation. In today's society, the police are always on edge, and people are always on edge when encountered with the police. By following the officer's commands, you diffuse the situation. Now, of course, you are thinking to yourself, well, what if he's giving me unreasonable commands? What if she is telling me to do something that violates my rights? It doesn't matter. In the moment, my advice is for you to follow those commands. If they are violating your rights, if they are asking you to do something that they are not allowed to ask you to do, you can deal with that later. You can call an attorney and you can sue the police department. You can go after money damages or seek an apology. But if you don't follow the police's commands in the moment, you are escalating the situation. The police may act more aggressively, and it could create a greater chance of you or the officer getting hurt. So the advice is submit now and sue them later. With many people being, sometimes shot by the police or police themselves being shot, this is the best advice and the best path. Submit to their orders now and sue them later. That is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is do not give consent. Now this goes hand in hand with tip number 1. What you have to do is you do not give them consent to search your body, to search the inside of your vehicle, or to search the trunk of the vehicle. If they have the probable cause to do that, they will do that anyway. And in that case, tip number 1 comes into effect. They might ask you to move out of the car, move away from the car. They may even put you in handcuffs. Submit now, but do not give consent. You can politely tell the officers, listen, officers, I will submit to all of your commands, but I'm not giving you consent to search my person or my vehicle. That's it. That's it. Okay? If they want to search it, they can search it. But do not verbally approve or consent to them searching it. That can be problematic when you want to defend the case later on. If you've given them consent, they don't need to establish probable cause. They don't need to go get a warrant. So don't give them consent, but let them know in a polite way that you are not giving consent. Again, I suggest that you tell the officer, officer, I will submit to all of your commands, but I'm not giving you consent to search me or to search my car. Easy as that. Tip number 3, do not voluntarily surrender information. So the officers, whether it's a vehicle stop or a stop on the side of the road of your person, or if they come to your house, okay, it's perfectly fine to answer certain questions like, is this your house? What is your name? Etc., etc. Okay, don't provide false information. That's an extra charge. Okay, but provide basic information like that. But if they ask you deeper questions, okay, such as how many drinks did you have tonight? Have you been drinking? You can politely say to the officer, you can say, officer, I've been informed by attorneys that I should not voluntarily surrender this type of information. I'd be happy to tell you where I am coming from and where I'm going, what my name is, where I live, and who the owner of the vehicle is, but I'm not going to voluntarily surrender any additional information. If you want me to speak to you, I would like to get an attorney and I can talk to you then, but only after I've spoken to my attorney. That does two things if you use language like that. Is number one, it prevents you from saying something that is going to hurt you later on, okay? And number two, you've also invoked your right to counsel, which creates a sort of force field around you, okay? These all need to go hand in hand. If you're doing one but not the other, you may shoot yourself in the foot. If you're doing one but not the other, you may be escalating the situation as far as aggressiveness is concerned with the officer. For example, if you refuse to give consent, you refuse their orders, and you refuse to voluntarily surrender information, they may use force to remove you from the vehicle. And if they have reasonable suspicion, a reasonable reason to do so, they are within their lawful rights to do that. That's why number one is so important. It's so important for you to follow their orders, even if you believe it's violative of your civil rights. You can always sue later. But if you follow their orders and you combine that with not giving consent and not voluntarily surrendering information, you will be doing everything that you can to protect your rights and protect your case, so that when you get into court and you have an attorney, you may have a chance to actually beat this case. So let me run through the three principles one more time. Submit now, sue later. If the officer gives you commands, follow it. Number 2, do not give consent to search your body, to search your house, or to search your vehicle. If they have probable cause, they will search it. You can even tell them, I am not consenting to this search. Don't do it like a lunatic. Don't scream, don't repeat it over and over. Just say, I'm not consenting to the search once or twice, okay? And if they keep asking you, keep saying it, but I doubt they'll keep asking you. Well, I can't say that. They might keep asking you, but only say it when they ask you. Number 3, do not voluntarily surrender information. Tell the officer, I will give you basic information about myself, but other than that, I'm not going to voluntarily surrender information. The truth about this advice is that you could end up in jail that night. Sometimes if you cooperate, the officers won't take you to jail. The less you cooperate, okay, the more likely they'll take you to jail. It's possible. You could spend a night in jail, but that's better than being convicted of a serious crime. So this is my advice to anyone facing a stop. Submit now, sue later. Do not voluntarily surrender information, and do not give consent. I got a little bit out of order there. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I will expand on these principles in further videos. Thank you.